Okay, I got the water back on. Hey, look at that. That's all it was. It was just a loose end. All I had to do was tighten the threads up right there. I'm going to give it a little bit more. That's all it was. Okay. Now see, if that was still dripping, you know what I would have done? On the inside of that, there was a little rubber washer, almost kind of like for a hose end. You could replace that. And if that didn't fix it, guess what else I would have used? Got any ideas? Think about it. This is what I would have used. Teflon tape. That's for plumbing items. And I would have pulled that out and I would have wrapped that around the threads and then tightened that back up and tried that. But you know what? That's all it was. That end was loose. How simple was that? And the funny thing is, I've got another pipe. I've got another pipe just like this in the other corner that's dripping. I'm going to try to do that too. But you know, if you have an end like that, and if you can't get it fixed, go to the hardware store and get another end. And this is a universal end. It was less than $2, I think. And that should be able to work. But see this pipe here? They hooked into there. And here's a piece of advice. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. Whenever you get to the end of a low, drip irrigation system, the main pipe, don't tap in at the very end of it. Go back a little bit, like 4 or 5 inches away from the end, in case you ever have an issue with this later on down the road. Because the other thing, had this have leaked, had this not have worked, I've seen also where they just have the pipe end and they fold it over and then they kind of smash it down with a pair of pliers, and then they take a 1/2 inch coupling and they just shove that right over the end and it just holds it, and that's all they use. Well, in this case we couldn't do that. What I would have had to have done was pull this end out and bend it over, put a coupling on there, and then take this and re-pipe it, re-thread it, puncture a new hole down here, but it goes right down in the ground right there. So that would have been a little bit tricky in itself. Okay, that's all there is to that. Now let's see. Let's take a look at this other one over here. See this one here? It's doing the same thing. And I'm going to reach in there. I'm going to see if I can tighten that up. Maybe it's as simple as tightening this right here. Look at that. It's fixed. I didn't know it was going to be that easy to fix that. Here it's been leaking all this time. For years it's been leaking, and I was always afraid of trying to mess with this because I didn't know what I was doing. Okay? It's not dripping. I fixed it. Here I thought I was going to have to fix something that was going to take a little bit of time and effort on my part. And it's just been that this whole time. Yeah, I guess I don't need that after all. See how saturated this is? That's because this has been leaking for so long. We've got the drip irrigation set for 12 minutes. And we're in a water shortage here, and so it's only going on 3 days a week at 12 minutes. If you have drip irrigation, that's about all you need, 12 minutes at a time. But check your areas. If you got any questions, you can go down to your local hardware store and ask them what you should set your drip irrigation timer for. You don't really need to pay somebody to come out and start working on your drip irrigation lines. Take some time and figure out some of this stuff on your own. Now speaking of timers, maybe that's something I should show you next time on how to set your electric timer in the garage or on the side of your house. Do you know how to do that? Stick around and maybe you'll be able to fix it yourself by watching the next video. Here's a tip for you. Every time you get done with your garden tools and stuff, wash them off. Don't just try to clean them off a little bit and leave some dirt on there, because your tools aren't going to last very long that way. A clean tool is a happy tool. Yes. This hammer, I use this claw hammer to do some digging, and if you don't keep it clean afterwards, it's going to start rusting. There we go. Okay? You can do that on your shovels and picks and all kinds of stuff. There's a tip for you. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.